Serious matter. It's Monday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Dr. Obiajilu Ugbo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing, Dr. Mariah, MD.
Thank you, darling. How's everything?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Saturday we spent with Tokwe at her Game of Money conference. It was beautiful. I enjoyed the speakers and, wrote down a few things that I will be implementing. So it was a good one. And it was a good turnout. Congratulations, darling. So I will allow you to do your own hair. Yeah. But then Sunday, I was just home resting. The kids were home as well. We just stayed home, rested. Then I woke up early. I don't know, these days I don't sleep so late anymore. So I woke up early. I was able to do some work. We've started working on the next project for our shooting. As a producer.
Yeah.
So I've been meeting with my team back to back. We are fine-tuning the story so that the screenplay writer can, start and all that. And then I started doing some costing. I'm like, things are really, really expensive. If not that this is a passion for me, this is time to say, okay, good outing, guys, let's go back. But, we just have to continue and find a way.
You know one skill that I have that I've never really harnessed is script writing. Okay. I'm very good at writing.
So when you're ready.
Let me, when your script is ready, I can help you. Because I'm that area, I've $100,000 for it. I've done very well in the past, but I just haven't really built it. So I got you with scripting.
Thank you, darling.
This next one got to be a hit.
It's got to be a hit, baby.
How you doing, Topsy Tops? Congratulations again on Saturday. Well done.
Thank you. I feel very, very blessed. You just did one of the things that makes me feel blessed, which is somebody will tell you something, there's a contribution on how to. Like, this table is a very, very blessed table. You should, everybody here, you just say something and everybody is looking for how they can
make it better
support you and make it better. And it's a blessing to be surrounded by that such group of people. Not everybody has it. So one, I'm very grateful for the YourView team. I'm grateful for the TVC Entertainment team. I'm grateful for everyone that showed up. Coach Femi Adisa. Akiade said I did not mention his name. Akiade, I'm mentioning your name. Thank you. I've always felt, it's when you do things that are like a bit bigger than you, then you realize you can have people surround you. And I felt very, very surrounded with love and warmth. And Game of Money conference was successful. We had over 3,000 people registered. We had 800 people show up. As in, when we got the numbers, I was like, 800 people showed up. Oh my God. It didn't look like it in the auditorium. We knew we had a full auditorium, but we didn't know we had that much people. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. We're going to do it again next year, May 10th.
Something you haven't talked about.
What? And my book! It takes a published author. I'm publishing. We're publishing in March. We'll start sending to people by April.
Yes. And you sold 200 on the spot.
Yes.
Brian, I've sold 600.
Hey!
As in, I'm like, we've not even printed, though. Okay, so the first 1,000 is going to go before we print.
Yeah,
Thank you. So I'll put the link on my Instagram page on how to order the book. It's a physical copy book, and I have put in sweats into that book. And
sweat and blood.
It's called...
You would get something. The book is called Mastering the Money Game. And that's the goal. Mastering
Congratulations.
The money game.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I've taken the entire banter. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's your day, actually.
How you doing, Maria?
I'm fine, thank you. So, as they've both said, we spent Saturday, at the conference, and, it's good to see. You mentioned how you're surrounded by people that support you, but also it's quite moving to also see someone that appreciates you for even the littlest thing that you do. So thank you also for recognizing and appreciating us. So February is a month of birthdays for me, left, right, and center. And I think I have to do the Nima style today and just shout out to a few people. So first of all, to my uncle, Mr. Nigel Temlong. I know this is quite belated. Happy birthday, sir. For all that you do in our family, we love you. Then also Honorable Raymond Dabo, who is, an influence, and he's described as a remarkable community leader. Thank you very much, sir. Happy birthday. To Sophie and Ruth, these are my two ladies on Lifestyle with ML Community. Your birthday as well this month. Happy birthday to you. So, yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. So, for me, Saturday was amazing. Okay. Because the truth is that I don't do conferences. I personally, because I just have a thing like, because I can't be on this table. I've heard so much information. I have so much information. Sometimes I feel like conferences, I've been there, done that. But I know Tokwe, and I know that she won't put together nonsense. Because I know her, so I said, you know what, I'm going to go. Because I know this person would put value together. And I went there and I got value. And I just want to say congratulations. It was fantastic. I love the fact that after the speakers, you then interview them because you know there's some things you want to do, you want to get out that won't get. Yeah. So I really appreciated it. It was fantastic. It was well planned. And I like the fact that you're building a tribe. In fact, you built a tribe and you're building them. And I mean, I can only see you internationally doing this globally, flying to Kenya, South Africa, Africa, Australia, everywhere, just because you are building a community, a tribe of people who actually will be millionaires and billionaires through you. So congratulations, fantastic.
Congratulations.
It's my anniversary.
Yes!
I just had to give that speech because I had planned it in my head. But yes, it's 13 years.
Oh, wow.
13?
No, it's 13.
Now you married for
2011 to this year.
I
don't know.
You're
13 years, yeah. So I'm grateful to God. God bless you. Love you, Mr. Brown. Love you, Brown. Yeah. It's gonna break when we come back.
No wonder you're singing that romantic song. I'm wondering.
You go to the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Shatima Akume Akpabio Wike hardship over soon. Petrol tanker owners suspend product loading. Stimulate local production to end forex crisis. All right, which story? And there are other stories inside the papers. Which story are we taking?
Yes, so let's take Benue State's Governor, Hyacinth Lomen Aliyah, who was speaking yesterday at the Chapel of Grace at Government House in Makurdi, state capital. And he was saying that some indigents of the state are working with foreigners, especially people from Niger Republic, to destabilize the state, and that his administration will block their activities and, you know, the agents of destabilization. So he says, and I quote, "I'm quite saddened to speak about what some fellow Benue citizens are doing, what they are planting and executing, which is not in favor of the state. The security report has revealed that some Benue indigents have gone out of their ways to invite herdsmen all the way from Niger Republic to troop into Benue State, all in the name of bringing down this administration. This is unacceptable, but the security agents are doing their work." And he, you know, says that they will fish out all those who are guilty of this and punish them. And also that Benue citizens should not be afraid, that security agencies are ready to ensure the safety of the people and their property. And that it's no longer election time, this is time for governance. So the people should be patriotic enough to be able to, you know, work for the benefit of their, you know, state, and not working against it, conniving with outsiders to come and, you know, cause mayhem in the state.
Yes, I have the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO. They notified the DSS and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, and also the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, MIMAN, on its plan to suspend operations. And the reason why, you know, in all that was written here is really about operational cost in the industry. They said that they're giving a notice of withdrawal of their operations as a result of this. They said that, see, they have, you know, tried in many ways to talk to different stakeholders or associations involved in this, and they haven't gotten any, you know, positive feedback yet. They said they are deeply constrained to seek the support and understanding of union and members towards the excruciating challenges petroleum trucks owners are facing with high operational costs in the industry. Made several efforts to negotiate appropriate freight rates with MIMAN, but to no avail. And so they have resolved to direct all their members not to make their petroleum trucks available for petroleum products loading activities with effect from Monday, that's today. They're saying, so in line with this directive, they're employing all their employees, that's petroleum truck drivers, to show maximum cooperation, support, and understanding for their collective efforts for continued sustainability of petroleum haulage business. So we know what that would mean. You know, it means that there will be scarcity of petrol, you know, at the fuel stations until this is resolved. I know we've had a couple of times, you know, they've come on the show and we've asked, you know, what is the way forward? And when they sit here, they talk about,
hopefully we'll discuss it further in our hot topic. All right, so our Vice President, Kasim Shettima, and Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and others gave a ray of hope for Nigerians yesterday when they went for the Sun Awards. He was there, the Vice President was represented yesterday, and he was saying that they were talking that there'll be some kind of hope very soon, that they reassured Nigerians that things will get better very soon. According to the paper he delivered, so the government is commencing the implementation of the Polaco Initiative. It's a large-scale resettlement program aimed at addressing the root cause of farmer-herders clashes. He said that they also inaugurated a steering committee to coordinate implementation of all the various initiatives fulfillment by the president, and that he noted that the president is committed to a vibrant press to ensure that they are not going to be infiltrating in press freedom. They'll make the press free and independent. Media is essential to a healthy democracy that we hope to have. Furthermore, he said that the Tinubu administration will remain steadfast in their commitment to building a brighter future for all Nigerians under the Renewed Hope agenda. That is tough now, they know, but they believe that it's going to get better. The economy will definitely get better in the coming months.
So I want to take the story about PENCOM, the National Pension Commission, headed by the Director General, Mrs. Aisha Dai Umar. She was speaking at the Congress of Financial Correspondents Association of Nigeria, FICAN, in Abuja, and she said that they've been able to recover 25.4 billion from employers who failed to remit pension contribution. Of that 25.4 billion, 12.9 billion was the principal amount and 12.5 billion was from penalties imposed on defaulters. So she's advising that it is very expensive if you default, so companies should remit. Many companies make pension deductions but do not remit the pension amounts into the PENCOM account, and they said they would have done more because there are billions out there that are being withheld by companies but not remitted, but they don't have enough enough hands that are recovery agents available. So when they have more recovery agents available, people would be compulsory for them to release this money and pay the penalties, because it's costing the PENCOM money to get agents to retrieve the amount. So compliance is better than waiting to be forced to comply. And I'm happy that at least pensioners would be at peace with the new PENCOM reform that has been ongoing. Let's just encourage employers to pay the pension deductions as I went due.
The Punch. Police warn against violence as Labour gives fresh conditions. Naira weakens as banks' dollar sales plunge by $250 million. FG marketers meet today. Tanker drivers insist on strike. 15 trucks of smuggled foods intercepted in Sokoto, says customs. Nigeria, Brazil plan new MOU as trade drops by $8 billion. And Navy 6 speedy trial of oil thieves. Okay, let's take one story before we're going to break.
A major headline. So the police authorities have said they will not condone any form of violence during the planned two-day demonstration declared by the organized labor in protest against the hardship of Nigerians and the high cost of living in the country. Now, the police handed down the Riot Act on Sunday at the Nigerian Labour Congress, gave fresh conditions ahead of the minimum wage negotiation, which will be starting today, that's Monday. And they said the warning was also coming against the backdrop of the alarm raised by the African Development Bank that rising prices of fuel and other commodities could lead to social unrest in Nigeria, Ethiopia, Angola, and Kenya. And, the warning was in their microeconomic performance and outlook for 2024, which they had projected that Africa's economy would grow higher than the 3.2% recorded in that period. But that an increase in the fuel and commodity prices occasioned by currency depreciation or subsidy removal in Nigeria, Angola, Kenya, and Ethiopia could trigger internal conflict. And we know that the NLC had given an ultimatum which had expired, and they had planned that they would start up their protests 1 week after the expiration of the ultimatum they had given. So they are going to be starting the protest February 27th. And they are saying that one of the reasons they are protesting is the high cost of living, and also the fact that they had said they wanted the minimum wage to be 1 million, but they are saying now that they will bring it down to reflect the economic realities of the country. They are willing to negotiate it down. However, the minimum wage must match. People must be able to use it to cater for their basic needs, and that's what they are fighting for. But they are promising also that the protest will be done within the confines of the law, and so we should not expect any form of disorganized.
All right, let's go on a short break now. We'll come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're still reviewing Punch in the story.
Yes. So the food crisis, the APC government has said that PDP governors should face their primary assignment. So the federal government in Abuja called on the PDP governors that they were elected to do a job, serve the people of their state, and they should concentrate on that rather than playing politics and playing to the gallery. The PDP governors at last weekend mentioned that the APC-controlled government they should quit, that there are many challenges, whipping up politics and attacking the APC-led federal government. And the APC government, the Minister for Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has spoken on behalf of the government and described the PDP governors as just calling them an attempt to distract, and that they should, instead of being busy facing what they are meant to do, they are undermining the president's efforts to bring economic relief to Nigerians. And just a lot of statement to say, face your work. You already have an assignment within your state. Concentrate on providing good governance to the people of your state while the federal government is doing their own part, instead of attacking the federal government's efforts and distracting people from your own inefficiencies. That's the reply to what PDP said.
Okay, in the same vein about food scarcity, we have the Nigerian Customs Service. They said on Sunday they had intercepted 15 trailers that were fully loaded with food items and were heading out of the country through Sokoto state border. The trailers were stopped and the food items were returned to Nigeria. They said this is part of the measures to stabilize the prices of food items across the country in line with the mandate of the federal government. So they said the federal government had a meeting on Thursday, and they came with the president, vice president, and also state governors at the villa in Abuja, and they had, they made some resolutions, so that they could cut down, reduce the rising prices of staples right now. And some of the things is that, try and stop those who are hoarding, intercept hoarders and those who are smuggling food out of the country. And also, one of the ways that they're looking to resolve it is also stop importation. They don't want to encourage importation, so we would have the food that we have here for Nigerians to consume locally. They also explained that many people are hoarding and trying to smuggle out because they are not sure of government stance. But government is not saying sell less than, the price that you've put there. We're just saying sell in Nigeria. And as you keep selling Nigeria, Nigerians are buying, the prices will eventually stabilize. Hoarders also, they're going around and they're trying to make sure that those people are bringing out their goods so that they can sell. Business people are worried, so they're keeping it and hiding it. But we can't keep doing that. But federal government is saying they're on this. They said apart from these 5 trailers, other smugglers have also been intercepted. That this, and the government is saying this is not, we don't intercept you and then seize your goods. We're just saying we're bringing it back to Nigeria, sell it in Nigeria so Nigerians can consume it.
All right, so Nigeria and Brazil are coming together to strengthen their bilateral ties. Our president was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and he spoke with the president of Brazil, Lula da Silva, and both of them actually agreed for the increased trade and cooperation across solid minerals, exploration, healthcare, and agriculture between both countries. So both countries have actually had a relationship since 1960s, and they've actually had collaborated on agriculture, education, energy, and trade. But they're trying to see how they can strengthen as they are both the biggest economies in Africa and South America. So they're also trying to see how they can establish a direct flight between Nigeria, Lagos, and Sao Paulo in Brazil. So they are pretty much the meeting. Both leaders sought to fan the embers of over 6 decades, and they're trying to see how they can ensure that there's continuous trade between both countries, Brazil and Nigeria. I would like to go there directly. That'd be nice. Okay, Vanguard, hardship paralyzing lives nationwide, says Catholic bishops and can. Naira depreciation, inflation, eroding value of insured assets. Edo 2024, APC gets 3 candidates, Agba threatens legal action. Rising cost of living may lead to social unrest in Nigeria, says other Africa Development Bank. Food crisis faced governance, FG, APC slam PDP governors. Presidency Atiku at war over FG's forex policy. Power grid drops to 3,530 megawatts as rationing persists nationwide. And 12 die as bandits sets fire on 17 houses in Kaduna village. Wow. Okay, which story?
The major headline, so the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, and the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, yesterday dissected the state of the nation, and they give a grim verdict. And according to them, they said hardship is paralyzing socioeconomic lives in the communities, socioeconomic lives in the communities, and hunger, which is causing a serious humanitarian crisis. And they also lamented that Nigeria was in her worst times in terms of insecurity, economy, and corruption. And they are calling for a sincere, accountable, and collective effort so that we can halt the current the current situation that's happening in the country right now, and move us towards a prosperous nation. So they highlighted a few things which I wanted to just take here. They talked about the killing of citizens, unarmed citizens that are being butchered here and there, by different people, herdsmen, bandits, depending on the location. And many people are fleeing and leaving their communities. Families have lost their ancestral lands to armed invaders, land grabbers, and all of that. And the citizens that are brutally attacked need a form of succor and, help, and so government needs to fix that. They also talked about the reforms that are going on in the policies, the policy with floating of the currency, which has led to inflation, the fuel subsidy removal also, which is now affecting everything and everybody, and the fact that our Naira is declining in value on a daily basis. This is making it very difficult for Nigerians to even survive and have the basics, and they're asking that government needs to fix that. They also talked about government's lavish spending in the cost of governance. They are asking that the people cannot be suffering, and then people who are paying the taxes are seeing their leaders, squander the money. The cost of governance is too high. They're expecting that everybody at this point will start reducing the expenditure so that we know how we can fix our economy, and a lot more other issues. I was expecting to hear more of, okay, what can we do from this problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kaduna, they say rampaging bandits in Kaduna yesterday set fire on 17 houses, killed 12 locals and injured about 9. Gendendus, a Mekeli village of Ufana district, Kajuru local government area of the state. The governor, who has been leading meetings with security forces, has condemned the attack, prayed for the repose of the souls of the deceased. The government is saying that they are going to do everything within, its power to, continue to tackle insecurity. They also reiterated government's dedication and commitment to tackling the security challenges experienced in the state. They said, as of the time of this report, the police had not yet reacted to the incident, but journalists said that they were told that these bandits came into the village about 5 a.m., while many locals were still in their bed. So when they set the houses on fire, a lot of the lives were lost in the inferno. 9 were rushed to the hospital where they're receiving treatment for severe burns. So appealing to authorities, the government is appealing to authorities to deploy more soldiers to the areas. May the souls of those who have passed rest in peace.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to take a story about the national grid. So our power grid, we all know, we're feeling it. Anyway, this conversation is that the power grid power production drops to 3,530 megawatts, which is, and that is because only about 16 of our power plants are working. They also mentioned that out of them, only 3 are at full capacity. We're talking Azura Edo IPP, Kanji Hydro, that's producing 415, and Shiroro Hydro, producing 275. Biggest challenge we have is our hydro, our gas turbines are not working because the gas suppliers have refused to supply Nigerian government gas because we have not paid. So the government is owing 1.3 billion for the past supplies, and the government has said in the beginning of this year that they will start paying, that they are going to release a subsidy of 1.6 trillion in 2024 to the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NESI, but the budget provision only provided for 450 billion out of the 1.6 trillion. So the Minister for Power last week confirmed that no payment has been made as of the month of January, which is compounding the liquidity challenges facing the industry, and that these issues and the poor collection, inadequate funding, all combined is why we don't have power. So we are seeing that there's a lot more to the story than...
Ah, goodness me. This country is full of catch-22 issues.
Yes.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. This morning, we're going to be opening our phone lines to hear from Nigerians on the state of the nation. The federal government has repeatedly reassured Nigerians that this painful season would soon go away, saying that there's a lot being done policy-wise to restabilize the economy and get things, food crisis to abate. Unfortunately, many Nigerians are still crying because lots of prices have gone up across board on food prices, transportation, so many things relatable to Nigerians have really gone up, and Nigerians are really wondering what exactly is going on. So there's a part of government policy, there's a part of Nigerians themselves causing these high-cost skyrocketing pricing, either by hoarding or refusing to sell. What are your thoughts on the entire, what's going on? Because the Nigerians are really, really worried about government, and government has repeatedly told us that this is a short phase, and they're working on ensuring that the policies eventually begins to benefit Nigerians. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 0902-124-163-440. Please tweet to us at TVC_Entertainment_. We'd like to hear from you. The truth is, there's a lot going on right now. Nigerians are really suffering when it comes to food, electricity, transportation, the basic needs of life. And so in some quarters believe that even we as Nigerians, we're even adding to this suffering. What are your thoughts on this?
Let me read something from one of the papers today, just to buttress your introduction. It says that the prices of staples have gone up in recent times. This is the National Bureau of Statistics listing the 2023 December food inflation at 33.93%, up from 23.75% in 2022. Reports say prices of staples like rice, beans, oil, plantain, grains, fish, poultry and meat have surged by 50%, and this has triggered protests against the harsh development across the country. Data obtained from Consumer Price Index reports by the MBS also indicated that Nigeria spent 1.47 trillion on importing food and beverages in the 6 months of 2023. So earlier when I read out in during the newspaper review, it says that the there's a committee that had been set up where we have the DSS and the Inspector General of Police, you know, part of it. And their job is to address this issue of rising prices in staples. It's also to clamp down on those who are hoarding, who are smuggling. And also, one of the things that they're looking at is to stop importation of food. We're spending a large amount of money to bring food into our country. I mean, this is a country that is blessed. I mean, you know, Taraba State, from when I was small, what I used to always hear, then my grandma would tell me, she says that, there was a time Chinese came and they would say, just one community in this state will be able to feed the whole of Nigeria. They would say that if they even had that, that could feed their own country. That was one thing I used to hear a lot about Taraba State. So, and then we have Benue State, Plateau State. I mean, we have so much going for us, but we haven't done the necessary investment. And the times that we have done, we have also seen the part that Nigerians play. Very recently, the anchors borrowers, when, you know, Nigerians were given money to do something and they haven't been able to, for various reasons. They didn't return, there are no returns. They would say the insecurity, the environment is not palatable to what it is that they are meant to do. You know, just different reasons that. So, but now is the time that we should all put our heads together and sort this issue, because it is crazy. It is so scary. I've never in my adult life, you know, felt this thing so much. Like everywhere, you can see on people's faces that this is no joke anymore. I have a man that, I have a guy that supplies us eggs in the estate like every week, or as often as you need. And you would get, like, for the month, the price of eggs. He sent us a message, no vex, so I'll be sending you weekly prices. Because today I will give it to you, the next day it's another price. It makes no sense how fast these prices are rising. What is happening? We're not in a war situation. What is happening?
What's the hurry? Let me also come to the ladies, because I was reading the article saying that Nigeria has the potential to feed itself and even be a net exporter, which is what you just said, of food items to other countries. However, the nation requires food to be brought out to the people so that they can control prices and put food on the tables of Nigerians. Many Nigerians are hoarding. Other commodities traders are busy hoarding these commodities so that Nigerians will suffer or they will make more money as a result. So aside from government's own, government is saying, I put a policy in place, right? It's a hard policy, and they said it's going to be for a season. But even me now, I'm a trader. I'm also keeping because I don't know what's going to happen.
They're not hoarding tomato. It's not audible. They're not
grains are being hoarded.
They're hoarding grains.
Yeah, but they're not hoarding pawpaw. It's not hoarding. Like, if you know when they're perishable. It's not something that you can hoard. There are the costs of perishables are also going very high, and it's not based on hoarding. It's based on their metrics. So we can talk about the fact that there is hoarding, but the costs of food in the market is not just the challenge of hoarding. It's a challenge that we knew was going to happen. One, we have a major insecurity challenge in the country. Farmers cannot go to their farm. It's ripple effect. Two, diesel prices keep going up. Cost of transporting the goods have gone so high. Where would they put it on? You know? And we also have the challenge that the people, we still have the food is being exported out of a country that cannot feed itself. We still have that happening right now. Exports of food out of a country that is struggling to feed itself. So when we want to deal with the issue, when we say security challenge is a crucial part, it is obvious. Taraba can feed Nigeria, can feed even the entire West Africa. Even the Commissioner of Agriculture in Taraba has said it. But how are we helping Taraba? Because we know they have the land. How is the federal government now saying, let me have a meeting with the governor of Taraba and let me have a meeting with the Commissioner for Agriculture in Taraba. They say you people have land. What is the problem? What can we do short term? They are produce. Maize is short term. You can flood market with maize in 3 months. Chicken, 3 months. We can produce this thing. It needs a decisive government saying that we will do A and we'll get B. The entire Taraba is protected. I'm just using Taraba as an example because
there's Plateau, there's Benue.
Ogun State is the poultry hub of Nigeria. Everywhere you go, you see them poultry farm. So if we are decisive as a government, we can decide to say what is the problem and how can we help them. Transportation is a major challenge. I feel right now the easiest thing to subsidize is not petrol, it's to subsidize diesel. Because everything is based on diesel. petrol costs is going high because diesel is costing, the price is influencing petrol. Food people that are bringing food, yam is expensive, rice is expensive. They say it is the diesel cost. So
just based on what you just said now, because in that conversation the president had with other stakeholders, where they talked about security, even state policing. So our current 300,000, 400,000 police that we have should go and protect those states. While the individual states go and do, all the states have your own state police. While these 300,000, 400,000 men that we have with the police, they should go and either Taraba State, Benue, and all those food hubs. They should go and protect those areas so that Nigerians can feed itself.
Then can the northern states release the food too? Because I heard that they're not even releasing the food to come south. We went to the market. They said they did not bring food, that they did not collected container, that no truck has come into the market.
So much on diesel.
They are saying they want to keep their food.
Issue.
Yeah, it's a diesel issue. You won't blame them. The issue is multi-layered. If you touch one aspect, there's another one waiting for you. If you touch another aspect, there's another one waiting for you. We have a deficit of people who are ready to go into farming because for them, they do not see it as lucrative anymore and as status, quote unquote, anymore. They would rather take up jobs like ride Okada, things that are quick fixes that would just give them money. So we need manpower in that area. That's one. She has highlighted insecurity. Before, we didn't have these sort of issues because people were able to go to their farms. But insecurity has driven, a lot of people have even abandoned the farming. They have left their ancestral lands. They are somewhere in the city with one cousin or one. So who wants to now go back to the farm? They are not sure that their lives are secure when they go back to the farm. The fact that we are import-oriented, we do more of importation, would affect everything that we're going through because the rising cost of the falling of our naira is also affecting us. By the time you say, okay, we are going to be planting maize, we really do not have those really good seeds. We import most of the seeds if you want your crops to. We're not looking at that. We import, there's this thing they use for fertilizers. All these things are imported. It has to do with dollars. So by the time you finish the importing, you plant it here. Somebody is thinking because you planted it here, you will sell at a loss. It's not going to happen. You will add all of your costs together, and then things get expensive. And so we need to focus more on improving our ability to export products and also ensuring that those designated places, like you mentioned, get those security people to man some certain places where production and agriculture is going on so that we secure that aspect. Have we looked at the issue of wastage? Some of these perishable products, we don't have enough storage for them. We don't have the mechanism to store them or convert them to dry goods or powdered goods and all of that. And so before the farmer finally gets to the end product, he has lost over 50% of the money that he had invested in place. And how do you recover it? You have to put it on the price of the goods that you're selling. So the issues are just so many. I don't know which one to touch. Now, the wickedness of Nigerians is the fact that you now want to, so you have old stock, right? And you quickly increase it because you are anticipating that by the time you get to the market, it's going to, it's going to be high. So you increase the old stock, first of all, before you get to the market. Why not wait? When you get to the market, you put your price according to what you have bought. But everybody's in a hurry to just make that money, and it's affecting all of us.
Let me take this call from Ade. He's calling from London. Thanks for calling. You're live.
My advice to Mr. President is this. During the Shagari era, they have what they call PLO, Presidential Liaison Officer, in all the states. Let him have that. All the custom, they have more than 1 million rices languishing in the custom barrack. Let them release those rice and those food to every local government to share for the poor people. That will go a long way. Instead of just seizing the rice, Ororo, all these things, languishing in custom houses, let that be shared immediately to poor people through the liaison office in every state that the president will appoint. So all local governments, they will share to the grassroots. That's the first thing they should do. Empty all those barracks of custom with food and oil. And then you can think of the next line to do. That's serve as a food bank to all Nigerians. God bless Nigeria.
We're going to go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and open our phone lines for more callers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. YourView will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the state of the nation, insecurity, food crisis, the hardship, no electricity. That's part of it. Sometime this week, hopefully, we have the minister come and join us and shed some light. But right now, the issue of food crisis is a major issue. Another angle of this conversation is the governors. You know, the governors received over 1.1 trillion naira in December federal allocation, and you're wondering what was done with the money. You know, this money has tripled compared to what they were getting months back, even since this administration came on last year, May. The money the governors have received, they've never received before. So the question is, in the midst of this crisis, what are our governors doing individually in their states to boost production? I know that I know Lagos State had started a hub in Mushin, and it's cheaper produce. They have, somebody was sending a video that they bought pineapple for 500 and I'm like, in this Lagos, are you sure? In Mushin, in the Lagos State hub. So according to what I heard is that they plan to have this across all the various local government. But even aside that, we need more of that. We need more hubs across the nation. We need we need access to food.
Why is it cheaper in the hubs?
So because that's where it lands. Oh, okay. So there's no extra cost. If you're buying it in your own locality, you probably will carry transportation costs. So
all right. So the main issue. So now let's go into the issue of governors. The governors, the responsibility of the governors, the issue of insecurity, because federal government is now suggesting state policing. There are so many levels to this issue of instability in our nation. Which angle do you want to
governors, I feel that when you hear our governor speak and you're hearing excuses and you're
also complaining like you.
How can you be complaining? You are a House of Rep member. You are lamenting. Please leave lamentation for us. Regular Nigerians. I don't get it. Why are you complaining? You say, oh, the power in the House of Assembly is overrated. There's no power. I say, what of oversight function? He said, there's no. What power does oversight function? How can we compel? I say, wow. The government will say, the federal government, what will I do? I'm like, wow. As in, people should take responsibility. It's that simple. We can decide to be complaining and lamenting and wallowing, or we can choose to take responsibility and say, I will feed my states. What do I need to do? I would fuel diesel. I'll put diesel into trucks to go to we know the farming communities. I know for Oyo, you know that when you get to this particular place in the Gobosho, you will gather this particular stuff. You know if you go to Okeogun, what you will gather from Okeogun. You know the Isheyin, I will gather this from there. So if I ensure that I have trucks go to those places and buy from the people there, or ensure that we have vendors buying from them, we will reduce the problem. Lagos State can say we provide trucks. We put diesel into the trucks. They will go to Oyo State and bring in food to these food hubs. Ogun State, we can partner like that and ensure that we are reducing the burden and reducing the middlemen. Because the middlemen, obviously, are profiting despite all of this challenge. Now, how much I buy, I go sell. It doesn't matter. But the governors can ensure that we create incentives so that we are bringing the produce to people without much complaints. And on another note, we have every state has commissioner for agriculture. Every state. I remember when we were facing COVID crisis, there were emergency meetings weekly by all the commissioners for health in all the states. We have a food crisis in Nigeria. Let there be emergency meeting on a weekly basis for all the commissioners for agriculture, for all states. What do you have? What do you have? What are your problems? What are your problems? What can I give you? I have fertilizer. I have manure. I have this one. How can we cross and maximize ourselves? Like, what can we do? Let the conversation happen.
Well, many of them are not producing anything.
So that's where I'm going as well. I feel that the governors in the North and Middle Belt have been quite lazy when it comes to proper investment in that area. They've done it so well, you know, agriculture, farming and trading has been done the way it has always been done. We go to the farm, we till the land, we harvest the crops and then we send it. Do you understand? Then other things started coming in. Issues of the herder farmers issues now became a huge problem. Insecurity became a huge problem. I understand that these are real issues, and we have heard the governors come out to cry. I'm not disputing that, but I also feel that the work that needed to be done in investing in these areas, it was never done. We're just happy, just doing it the way we've always done it. I say that for me, I have like a lot of people who I went to school with that went to farming. You know, they say, oh, farming is not so palatable, farming is not attractive. I know so many people that went to school, have degrees, and went back and they are farming. You know, so it's not about people are crossing their hands, they don't want to do farming. For those who are in the farming, what are we doing to help them? These are people with education. These are people that, you know, they're putting in whatever little expertise that they have. All they need is a little bit of government support. You know, when I first joined this show, Baraya will be telling me that, stop hailing these government people when they come too much. I said, it's because of where I'm from. To sit down and be hearing Lagos State government saying, we have done this, before we hear Nigerians complain. It was strange to me. We have to carry placard and be screaming, and still you will not hear anything. So I want a different attitude when it comes to, you know, investment in what is natural to us, in the Middle Belt, in the North. Let's invest in these things. Let's make it a priority. If there's nothing that we get right, let's make agriculture the first thing and the biggest thing that we invest in, and that would multiply into other things. See, cost of transportation, cost of diesel, all those things can also be, you know, I feel that when we have things like a lot of these perishable goods that we grow in Plateau State, before long, you harvest it, in a few days, everything is rotting. If we have like big storages, free cold storages, you know, in these states that can keep them for longer, and so that farmers also are not put under pressure to sell quickly at any amount because they know that they would rather, and people will tell you that when you're traveling through Benue State, you just see oranges just on the floor. Wasting because we cannot keep it. So these are things that government would have invested in a long time ago. So the wastages plus insecurity, farmer herders clashes is making everything worse. So government, governors especially, and at the local government level, we can do better. The story does not have to be the same every year.
Let me take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Brian. Yeah, good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. You have all spoken well this morning. But you see, last December, I traveled home. I'm from Ogbomoso. I have so many uncles, brothers that are into farming. You see, when I started complaining to them that how is food so expensive like this, they said they've been hearing this thing. But the people that came to buy from them, the difference from what they buy now and then is just a little. So what I'm trying to say is that the middlemen that is transporting the food, maybe from the farmers to the end user, are the problem. Honestly speaking. So I think the government, like you have said, maybe the government should come in and see how they can get this food from the farmers to the end user. That will reduce the cost a bit. So that is my contribution this morning.
Thanks for. Sometimes we say government can't do everything. Sometimes we the people, we can't even have. I should be able to. I as a citizen should be able to buy from you, the supplier, and be responsible enough to add my own profit, but not skyrocket the price so that I can make extra profit. We also have, at some point, there has to be some responsibility I play into this. And government cannot be the one transporting from you. That's additional cost to the government. So we all keep saying cost of governance. The issue is that Nigerians, too, must also be willing to participate in what to do for economic growth of our nation.
Okay. So let me, first of all, talk about you mentioned the governors who have been given money in trillions last year that was shared. And you were asking what did he do with it. I think that, first of all, like some stakeholders have said, that the government needs to declare a state of emergency when it comes to this food issue. That's the first step. Now, after that, I've always believed that for us to make a change, a lasting change, we must change how we do things. You can't keep doing things one way and expect a different result. That would be madness. Now we have realized that this is a state of emergency. What we now need to do is give everybody a KPI. You are a governor of Zamfara. You are governor of Lagos. You are governor of Delta. I'm giving you from 3 to 6 months to come up with a plan on agriculture. What do you intend to do? How do you intend to equip your state that your state can feed itself? Come up with it and start working towards it. And when you do not do that, there will be allocations that will not be given to you.
Because
give them something to do.
Now,
listen. The Constitution,
this is not a principal and teacher matter. There's a separation of power. Yeah, so this one.
See, we must all agree.
So it has to be Nigerians.
Yes, it's democracy.
Must all agree that we have to change the way we do things. Now, one of the reasons we don't see responsibility on the part of our leaders is because nobody checks them. We will just talk here, carry our bag and go, and things are going on the way it's going on. And people are suffering on the streets. We need to start holding them accountable by giving them, if you do not do well in this area, this allocation you will not get. What are our lawmakers doing? What are they doing?
They say
let me go on a break. Let me go on a break. When we come back, continue this conversation.
They're not as powerful, okay?
Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us a farmer, Christy Abdusalam. She's going to be joining the conversation. Good morning, Christy. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, good to have you on the show. So you're a farmer, and we're hearing various stories that prices at the farm, obviously, when the off-takers bring it to the cities, it's a totally different price. What's your view as regards the commodities you have, the produce you have, and what you're selling? Are you able to sell? Is it expensive? What exactly are your challenges you're going through right now?
Okay, first of all, basic challenges are transportation. Challenges like for we use a lot of irrigation, and we use drilling to irrigate the farm. So the price of fuel has to affect the price of our produce at the end of the day. And then you include the cost of transportation, which is also affected by the cost of fuel. By the time it gets to the market, the price is a bit high. And then the middleman buys it and has to also add his own because they are also going to transport it to another location. And then the price keeps.
Okay, Christy, what would you say, right, that we can do, first of all, as farmers? Is there anything, you're in Plateau State, is there anything you feel that the government could do better? And is there anything you also think that as Nigerians, as citizens, that we're doing that's sabotaging, produce, locally grown produce, and the prices that we're getting them at?
Okay, to be honest with you, security is one of the key factors that is affecting the prices of food items in the market. Let me give you an example. For farmers of potatoes in Mangu and Bokos local government, they have been affected recently by the crisis that happened, and not being able to go to the farm to harvest their produce or to farm. At the end of the day, it drives the prices of potatoes up. So a bag that you could have bought for 15,000, 17,000 before, right now you are buying it for 40-something thousand. Because they can't even go to the market, they can't go to the farm. So that is key. That's something that government has to do. The government has to look into the situation in a lot of these farming communities. Right. Because the farmer cannot go to the farm. The few items in the market, of course, because the law of demand and supply, the prices will go up. Presently, tomatoes are even cutting costs.
Okay, let me get in one more question for you. Go ahead.
Yes, so I wanted to find out if you're like a small-scale farmer, medium-scale, or
we're actually small-scale farmers.
Okay. So far...
So it's the small-scale farmers that will feel these things more.
So what would you want, for instance, in addition to the question, what would you want the government to do for small-scale farmers? Aside from the issue of security, what else can government do to support you to also enlarge your capacity as a farmer so that we know that we have more produce coming from you?
Okay, so the issue of farm inputs, because a lot of farm inputs are imported.
Okay.
So by the time the dollar goes up, it affects farming inputs. Some of these farm inputs. So by the time the government is subsidizing on some of these things, it will help the farmer.
Okay. All right.
The issue of farming implements like tractors and all of those things, if the government can provide at a subsidized rate for farmers, it will help to drive the price of food down.
All right. Thank you very much.
Storage is also very important. Because I deal in perishable items, and if I go and harvest and I'm not able to sell all of it, some of them will just go bad.
Exactly.
Storage is very important.
Thank you very much, Christy. We just wanted to hear from a farmer directly, just to know what your challenges and what your experiences are. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Talking about calling for a state of emergency, which actually they have, the vice president had declared a state of emergency on the food crisis, and he has stated specifically, highlighted that they can be fixed in medium, long-term, and short-term strategies. And according to him, the short-term strategy entails revitalizing food supply through specific interventions like distribution of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. It also entails fostering collaboration between the Ministries of Agriculture, water resource for efficient farmland irrigation, ensuring year-round food production, and addressing price volatility by establishing a national commodity board. Now, these are nicely said on paper. It's now how it's been implemented. So the board, which is the board you talked about that was established, would continually assess and regulate food prices, maintaining a strategic food reserve for stabilizing prices of crucial grains and other food items. So there is a plan in place. We're not
whenever we talk about giving fertilizers, there's always mago inside the execution.
So that's the issue.
Always it doesn't get to the people that really need it. It doesn't. I have many farmer friends around me, and they've been sharing fertilizers since forever. It never reached their place. So obviously, maybe we are not. Maybe we need 50 million fertilizers and we have 10 million to share. Of course, it will not go round. So why don't we find a way to ensure we are dealing with the most important problem that people have? The most important problem that people have right now is the fact that we want to transport our goods and we don't want wastage from storage. So if we are helping with transportation and helping with storage, then we help with security. Those three things will bring majority of the price down. Instead of doing the one of supplying and giving contracts, because you see this fertilizer, you are going to award contract. Somebody will chop money. Distribution will chop money. Let's leave that one.
But how will I get to you?
Because fertilizer will never go round. But if the products that we already have right now gets from the farm gates to the markets in the cities, we will reduce majority of the problem.
Still Nigerians that would have chopped the money that will still help us transfer it from the farm place. So we don't trust them to take fertilizer.
We're not spending money dashing out fertilizers now. We are ensuring that people that have farmed their produce get the money for the produce, and the produce gets to the people that want to buy it at a reasonable rate. So it is the transportation cost right now that everybody is complaining about.
Let me take this call.
Across everybody.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Francis, I believe.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Kennedy, go ahead, you're live.
Yeah, I really want to contribute to the discussion we are having. If you watch the problem we're having in this, is the state government. There's something like a follow-up to their plans. Like in Texas State, the then governor, James Ibori, built an agricultural setup called Songhai in Amukpe. Immediately after the man left, the following government, they started using it for retreat. And after using it, after squandering the old product, such as the grasscutter and the porcupine, they didn't follow up their patronage. When it was pardoned, they now took their retreat to Calabar, this is Open Rush. If every problem, and if the water somewhere has been a very large agricultural sector that produces all kinds of both livestock, cassava, and the rest. Let the state governors do a follow-up, whatever they have, whatever every other governor has put in place. If this thing is done, we will not have we will not be talking about shortage of food security. Then again, farming is very, very important in this present economy. If you go to, like I said, I'm from Delta State, we can produce cassava. There is a place called Abraka in Ethiopia. If you see a lot of trailers that come from different.
Oh, Kennedy. So the line wasn't clear, but in addition to what the Vice President was saying concerning insecurity, he touched on insecurity. He said, I wish to assure you that we will engage our security architecture to protect the farms and the farmers so that farmers can return to farmlands without fear of attacks. We won't only make it safe for a place for farmers to return to their farms, but also ensure that the activation of land banks. Said there are currently 500,000 hectares of already mapped out land that will be used to increase the availability of arable land for farming. So they're even providing more lands for farmers. So when I say we're not bereft of ideas or policies, we are not.
Yes.
Is the implementation from this paper to actualization of it as always a problem?
Exactly. So no matter how fabulous these policies are, if there's insecurity, it would not make any sense. Because first of all, farmers need to be able to get to their farms and do it safely. Then whether we like it or not, I see videos of other countries where they understand, the countries that they understand that agriculture is their mainstay and the sort of investment that is done. How many large-scale farms do we have in this country? So it's good that we have this policy that is saying that we're going to even have more land. Then what? Then how would you support them to make sure that this is sustainable? How would we support them also as Nigerians, for those who are in between government, who are mediators between government and farmers and those in the agricultural sector, that you're not a group of people who are just corrupt and decide to take advantage of policies like that to enrich yourselves at the detriment of the whole of the country. So these are the issues. I have called out governors for lack of ideas, but also I will call out you and I, for those of us that are in the corridors of power, and we put ourselves there because we know how much we can get, and we know that we're doing it at the detriment of Nigerians. That is not fair. But now, going back to government, that is when you catch them, you make a good example of them. Exactly. You don't let them go scot-free. You don't give them pardons. And because when you do that, you give another person an opportunity to do even worse. The problems we have today is compounded because we have allowed unscrupulous people, dishonest people to get away with bad behavior.
Yeah. Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with this show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of insecurity, food scarcity, transportation issues, diesel, high cost in diesel, the whole works. Let me come to you, BC.
Yeah, so we have had all these issues in the time past. We have had insecurity. There was a time insecurity was so heavy in one administration that they said the only way we can have peace was to kick out this person. You are not going to do second term because we want peace. And even after the kicking out, the insecurity worsened. So insecurity has always been there, right? But the problem I see now, aside from the fact that insecurity is still there, is the fact that our money is falling and we are largely that's the cause of all of this crisis now that is trickling down on the food, the transportation, the fuel, the diesel, and all of that. Our money is falling because we're not generating the currency that the world uses. And unfortunately, we're part of the world that insists that that currency is our Lord and our Savior. We are not strong enough to stand by ourselves and say we can build our currency and avoid those things that require us spend. We're spending so much and then we're not generating the currency. And because that currency is in control, everything that you are importing, if you are import dependent that we are, is measured against that currency. Till we sort it out. Whether you put 15,000 soldiers on one farm and all of that, as long as that currency is still beating our currency hands down every day, we'll still have these issues. That's on one hand. Then secondly, I think, aside from having some ideas that we implement, I think in matters of agriculture, we are not expanding our horizon. So I was in Botswana a few years back, I think just before COVID-19, and we had this think tank of different researchers and people into different industries and agriculture. And we're being enlightened on how we can begin to use our debts, our waste, to generate electricity, to do fertilizers, and a whole, in fact, when they broke down the value chain we can get from our waste, it's huge. It was interesting, and I was wondering who would be able to do this for us. We have some business people who don't know where to put their money, right? They can go into that. The government can say, okay, let us do a research. These government officials, they travel, they go for think tanks like this. They come back, let us do a research on how we can use, every day we're looking for where to put our debt to. There are dump sites all over the place. And we're planning to even ship our debts to other countries. Why don't we find a way to use that debt to help us get either our electricity or our fertilizers? We are importing fertilizers and you want the price of things to come down. It's not possible. So the value chain, let me just break this down before you come in. The value chain for agriculture is huge. But most times we focus on one aspect, plant and collect, and we're not looking at other aspects of creating more value from the produce that
just
we
in
have.
response to that, okay, I was going to say, because the central bank, according to this, I'm just speaking from our vice president, so that a lot of ideas were saying, they're also thinking about it, they've done something about it. So the Central Bank of Nigeria will also continue to play a major role in funding agricultural value chain across board. Which one? We will deploy concessionary capital to the sector, especially towards fertilizer processing, mechanization, seeds, chemicals, equipment, feed, labor. They don't think everything. So it's one thing.
And I was going to say that the issue with Nigeria is that we find these things that you're talking about, we find them in Nigeria, but we find them in small levels, at small levels. We've been to the prisons now. That's how they generate electricity. When, I think it was you and I, went to the prison, they showed us how they use waste to generate electricity. There are other businesses too that will show you in little ways the way that but we need to scale it. And in order to do it, we need government support. So we now understand that government can give us is able to give us support through policies. So we get that. But we need government support through implementation. We need government support through ensuring that people do not take advantage of the implementation to enrich themselves and allow us to suffer. So government has to come in at different places. I know we always say government can't do anything, but these are the places where we need government. Implementation and making sure that those who are taking advantage of the system are brought to book. Simple and short. And then allow Nigerians, brilliant Nigerians, with big minds to do the best for our country. We keep... The sad thing is, I see hardworking Nigerians at small levels working so hard, right? And it just seems as if government is not seeing them. It's as if the world is just collaborating to make things hard for them. Why is it that government cannot see people like that? We have big names that are able to approach CBN, we have to create a hub for these smaller names, smaller organizations and business to be able to access government help.
All right, let me go to our guests, because I know that we've been talking about the issue of insecurity also, even aside from the food crisis issue. But we have Honorable Hamad Satomi on his selection as Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on National Security. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us. National Security and Intelligence, actually. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, all of you.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We wanted to have you join the conversation because we've been discussing issue of insecurity, food crisis, high cost in transportation, and all that. But let's focus on the issue of state policing, that the federal government have said that the governors also have agreed to state policing. What are your views on this, and how far do you think this will take us in curbing the issue of insecurity we're having currently?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers, and good morning, all of you at the studio. The issue of state policy agreed by the governors when Mr. President invites them, and then Nigerians have different opinions, and I myself, I have my own opinion. But in generality, has its own advantage and its disadvantage. But what is most important for Nigerians, for Nigeria at this moment is, for us, we must get the security right, because it has reached a certain stage that it even affects tremendously in the aspect of food security, because we have lost most of our territories that usually farmers can access, but due to insecurity, farmers cannot do, and this leads to the food security, the part of the food security issue that we're witnessing. So therefore, the state policy has its own advantage and has its own disadvantage too. Okay. An advantage in the sense that it will improve the internal security because of its proximity to people, and then the disadvantage is also how to control it, and then the governors or the respective states can do they have the adequate resource to manage them, and then let it not be abused by politicians or the governors during election and so on and so forth. So there was a lot of outcry on that. But on my personal view and the generality, the way I understand the concept and the nexus of the security architecture in the country, I think first and foremost, instead of creating the state policy, we need to strengthen the existing police we have. How many of them have received their adequate remunerations in terms of welfare, capacity building, and then are putting it the best police in the right direction. I and you all know what is happening in the police. A lot of us have not much confidence in that, despite we have them in huge numbers. But their welfare is nothing to carry about. The corruption in the system is something to worry about. Sometimes when you see Nigerian police, you will beat them. But to me, we need to get the holistic security architecture right this time around, not only policing. To understanding of the security architecture, not only having police, but for us to have peace. Peace in the sense that both vertical and horizontal peace. When you see a police on the main road or escorting us or patrolling, which means there is insecurity. If you go to developed countries, hardly you will see on our highways and on their escorts, on their highways, police, armed police with AK-47 on the street. This is also a threat. So therefore, it depends on how you consider and what you want to work, what you want to do.
Okay.
For me, it's good if we can look at the Rangers because, pardon?
Okay, Honorable, so let me understand you.
Hello, are you with me?
Yes. Can you hear me? I want to ask you a question.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So now, let's just, in summary, we have all agreed. What you're saying is that we know the concerns, we know the challenges, but now we all agree that local policing, state policing is important because it directly also, the insecurity in our country right now directly affects food security. Now, we already know, you mentioned these concerns and challenges, we know them beforehand. What can we do? What can government, what can state governments now, and what can the citizens or indigenous or state do to prevent these concerns that you have mentioned from happening, or at least reducing them once this state policing takes off?
It depends on the kind of governance, or it depends on the person's capacity. That's why I say the resource is important, the political will. If we agree that we are doing the state policy, then we have to do it right. Let it not be as the federal police, where you know that at times I can say the highest bidder pick, sorry to use that word. But the good aspect of it is we need it, yes, I agree to some extent. But what I want you to understand is that, is there any commissioner of police in the respective, in those states that are not answerable to the governors? Is the police, the federal police in the states are adequately catered and funded? But the question is that if you bring this one, are they going to be in competition? What mechanism will you put in place? Because it's like you are creating to me a library something. You need to even make the Nigerian police that you have rights to understand what is their duty, what is their roles, and what can they offer. So to me, instead of creating another police, is better. Our major security challenges are all in the forest. Why can't we strengthen, improve, and recruit into the rangers? Okay. Boko Haram are in the forest, bandits are in the forest, Fulani headers are in the forest. Let's take charge of our territory. If you create state police, are you sending them to the forest? So to me, improve the rangers, recruit up to million to the rangers, so that they will take care of the forest. I will give you an example. Upon all these incidences that are happening in the northeastern part of this country for the first 10 years, there is a relative peace in the Yankari Game Reserve. Do you know why? Because the rangers are there. So if we take charge of our forest, control our forest, create enabling environment for our farmers, let us take charge of each inch or meters of our forest and mark it out through a proper coordinate and survey, so that Nigerians will know where are they going in the morning. If you want to put it in form of a mechanized farming, industrialized farming, whatever name that you have been discussing, get the forest in control. But for the past 7 to 8 years, Nigeria is not in control of its forest. That's the truth, and that's the bottom line of it. So to me, instead of investing in state policy, it's like you are still giving the governors another power for them to hold. What is happening in our local government system is virtually dead. Then if you create police, you give them another weapon. They will recruit, employ people with their control, and at the end of the day, what will you do? So instead, strengthening the existing police architecture, implement the police reform laws, improve their welfare, invest in cybersecurity intelligence gathering, so that proactively, before something will happen, we can prevent it.
All right, let me go on a short.
If you create armed men again, then what the armed men do? Even now, the intellect at available. Bandit can communicate, Boko Haram can communicate, herdsmen can communicate, the intelligence will be is available to the army, to the police. Our major problem is to attack, to respond. If not, why somebody will kidnap and call you asking for ransom? So I think when you invested huge in cybersecurity, you can coordinate and monitor and just pick. So to me, if government, I am working on a documents bill, we are working with the NSA to see that how we're going to improve the rangers. The rangers is more important because all the crisis we have is in the forest and is in the bush.
Let me go on. I have to go on a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us Honorable Hamad Satomi. Tokwe had a question for him.
So, Honorable, I'm surprised to hear your very different opinion from what we've heard from the NSA, from what we've heard from the president. Because over the last week, what we've heard from the president is we are now okaying state policing. This is the way to go. We need to strengthen our security architecture, and they are looking towards state policing, and they are moving towards state policing. Now you present a very strong argument for Rangers. And I'm wondering how well have you driven this point to the stakeholders, that is our commissioners, our IG, NSA, Minister for Defense, in such a way that they are saying something totally different from what you are saying. Please explain how you've pushed your agenda.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
We are.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, this is my opinion, and this is the truth. If you want it to work, I and you knows what is happening in the Nigerian security architecture, not only for police. We are battling one crisis for more than 10 years. And for instance, even in the national Nigeria federal police we have now, for instance, let me just give you an example of the recent. There was an approval to recruit about 10,000. And 10,000, and I took an example in my own constituency. When I asked how many applicants I have from my own constituency, Jerry, 6,000 applied. And I know out of these 6,000, not more than 5 or 10 will get. Because 774 local government, if you want to even distribute equally based on federal character and local government, you will have about 7,740. So the reason is, the issue is that it's not how it's supposed to be even at the federal police, which means if now federal government gave approval to recruit 10,000, why would you recruit 10,000 at once? But conventionally, those days, recruitment is on monthly basis. This simply implies that you are injecting 10,000 at the same day. That 10,000 will retire on the same day. When you take out 10,000 on the same day, what is the working force? So therefore, we need to have mechanisms. These are the loopholes even in the federal police. Then, coming to the state policy, the capacity issue, transparency issue, accountability issue, fairness, justice, equity for those that are qualified. I and you knows that. This one cannot. So instead, create an outfit to solve your immediate problem. Our immediate problem is to take charge and take control of our forest.
Okay.
If today I recruit, if I recruit 50,000 into the Rangers and I cordon entire Zampara, Sokoto, or JP, is there a bullet that can kill all the 50,000? I'm telling you, within a week we can pick them all. We have to use the Nigerian way to tackle the insecurity in the forest, take charge of our forest, develop the forest. It will be an economic hub for agriculture. While you people are discussing this morning about agriculture support for farmers, I'm a farmer. I just came from the farm to join your program. I'm even crying for how much fuel I'm buying to fund my water pumps so that it keeps my weeds water. That is entirely not for the common and ordinary man. Instead, if you are going for mechanized farming, you need sprinkler irrigation, center fiber irrigation, drip irrigation. These are huge. And these are the things that government can do. And if you want to do, you have to industrialize it, give it to those with capacity. So therefore, the entire security architecture and the nexus of operation, not to create state police. Today, how many police that have where even to sleep in the force headquarters, in the state headquarters? If you see them on the street, on checkpoints, you will pity.
All right, let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
They need to even have them.
Let me get a few more questions, but go ahead.
Please. Okay. I was going to say that, the problems with the police, if we were to go, what you have explained now, the Rangers, wouldn't we have the same issues with the Rangers as well as the police? So instead of duplicating these challenges and concerns for police and then Rangers, is it not better to just have one? We understand the people that give us the security are police officers, and then we handle the challenges thereof.
Hello? The Rangers have an existing structure. They are more or less professionals. Today, if I want to put in the structure of the Rangers, if I'm Mr. President, or I will advise, as I'm advising, I will call all the veterans. If you call all the veterans, you will have 50,000 active veterans in different disciplines that can offer the solution to you.
You have this data.
Micromanage it, zone it, give them the Rangers. They can do that job for you. Somebody retires as a brigadier general or colonel or lieutenant colonel or commissioner of police. He has the capacity. He didn't know anything about the security war. And now you expose him, you retire him. He's still in your payroll. Call them and engage them. You have a problem that every place hour is taking another dimension differently that is beyond the thinking of our security forces. Because we keep on the budget here, buying equipment, gadget, bullet, etc., etc. Can't we try something new? I gave you an example in Yankari. A botanist that trained as a ranger knows the behaviors of trees and the movement of moons and stars in the forest. He can work as a ranger because he was trained as a ranger. But this one, you are zoning it, you are creating competition per state. It might work to some certain states, some governors, due to their level of commitment, depending on what they can offer to their people. But since we are in a political dispensation...
Who will be in charge of the Rangers? Who will they answer to?
Definitely I and you know that something must...
It's not the governor's
So the truth was said, if you want to strengthen the internal security, not giving them gun, I don't know. But to me, I'm totally against the state police.
Okay.
If you want to recruit Nigeria...
Honorable. Yes, Honorable. I want to say that for other climes that operate the true federalism, let's take, for instance, the US, where we know that power is not really in the center, power is in the different, states and all of that, and then they just come to the federal, which is what we're trying to copy. You see that they have different policing systems. They have different security outfits that are, tailored to suit a particular place. So if you go to, they have a general police, right? But then they have, I've forgotten the names that they call them, for each sheriffs who are in charge of the security.
The local
yes, that's also what we're trying to achieve here, which is community policing. Because the truth of the matter is, what we are operating is more like a unitary system in terms of our security. We have people who do not even understand the ground, but because they need to be posted to different states, they are posted to places where they don't speak the language. They don't understand the intricacies. The intricacies of what is going on in terms of, because every state has a different security security need and criminal elements. The criminal elements in the north is different from the criminal elements in the south. And so when you have state policing, the Rangers good, the federal police good, and then you now break it down to state policing. Everybody is met at the point of their need when it comes to insecurity.
Yes, I agree with you on that, but I want you to cast back your mind. Where you're saying is that they have sheriff, maybe take United States for America, for instance. This is where you are trying to copy.
Yes.
But mind you that they have different laws based on the states. Yes. Individual state has different laws.
Yes.
So do you have that law? Each and every state has its own law in the United States where you want to copy. But in our own case, the Constitution, the laws that govern the Nigerian citizen is the Nigerian Constitution. And some maybe try whatever you have as a law or an act, the Constitution supersedes in Nigeria, but not in the United States. Each and every state has its own law, health law, whatever policy they want to create, they can do. And then looking at our state assembly members, 90% of us, 90% of them are answerable to the governments. So therefore, to me, at this material time, if you want to do it, it's a holistic issue, strengthening the existing police you have.
Okay, let me ask you.
It's like you are trying to pass an exam. You didn't pass the examination. You want to proceed and create another problem. It's good when you get the right act. When you don't have problem, it's good for you to have your own police. But what kind of arms are you giving them?
All right.
The sheriffs you are talking
because of time, let me get you one more question, sir.
All right,
one question. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, sir. I have a question for you, sir. We don't have enough time. Please let me ask this question. So we have, you've spoken extensively about the fact that we haven't dealt with the problem we have. We shouldn't create another one in creating state policing. We haven't funded the ones we have, remuneration, all of that. I get you. You also spoke about rangers, which would work in forest. But in Lagos, we don't have forest. What we have are a different set of criminals. Why I feel NSPDC would be effective, so we can find we could find different security, already existing security apparatus that will now encourage to morph and deal with those issues. I get that too. However, the conflicts we're dealing with in insecurity challenges in Nigeria goes beyond just securing and providing armed men. How about exploring conflict resolution strategies so that the inter-header-farmer clash is not about police, it's about resolving the crisis. Oh, you are encroaching on my land. Those ones are encroaching. The ones of communal clashes, those are not about police or rangers. Those are about conflict resolution, arbitration, and long-term resolution of the issues on ground. How are you advising the government to go about this, sir?
Yes, I agree with you. It will, 100% I'm with you. In places there is no forest like Lagos, you don't need the rangers. But mind you, rangers belongs to the federal government. The rangers I'm advocating for. So the military presence in the northeast is not, you can't compare it with the presence of military in the southwest. So it's the same thing applies for the rangers. You take them to where you need them. And then in a place like Lagos that's more developed, bit secured, but they have serious internal issues of what you mentioned, like encroachment, dealing, crime, cyber security, fraud, 419, and the rest. This one, you can strengthen the system you have in your internal security by improving your cyber security, cyber space, cyber crime, policing, and the rest. This one, I agree with you. I didn't totally say that I'm against it, but for at this material time, what we are facing, what we need to do is to improve the capacity of the existing police, give them the required and adequate tools, recruit based on federal character, recruit not putting them in bonus, no, monthly recruitment, so that each and every set knows their colleagues. If they are passing out, they will not go at the same time. So these are kind of the things I'm talking about. Implement the Police Reform Act completely and holistically. Let it be in position, so that they can even be resource people to even train the state police and then to control when the need arises. That is when you subdue or suppress the present crisis we have. But this government, as I'm speaking to you now, it has tried in terms of the security. It has improved compared to the previous government.
People in Mangu will not agree in Plateau State.
Economic crisis of hunger, then rise in economic and the rest. If not, this government, the present government, compared to
we have to
just tried tremendously well. And I know what the military
are doing. To respond to you because of time. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up, sir. I mean, I know that Brian wanted to throw in one, but let us just think.
Yes, I was going to say if you think Rangers will work in Plateau State, considering the header-farmer clash, but there's no time.
Want to try that?
Plateau State, the issues, their own security issues in Plateau State.
Yes.
You think Rangers will work in that terrain?
Okay, let me let her go because I know that.
Of course, why not? They are still there.
Okay. All right, so I know that
the issue is more of communal classes.
It's resolution.
Plato's issue requires justice.
Yes.
Plato's issue requires political will, determination, fairness, justice.
Yeah.
So it might work in some extent, but okay, the immediate border to Plateau is Yankari. And Yankari is one of the largest game reserves you have in this country.
And there's no kidnapping there.
Okay.
The reason why I wanted to even wrap up with him, because I know that the Vice President had addressed something like that in the paper review I took earlier. He talked about Chetima has said something about the Polako initiative. That is a Fulani word that means it's an unwritten code of conduct for the Fulani people. It's a word that cannot be translated into English simplistically. So the initiative is a large-scale resettlement program aimed at addressing the root cause of farmer-herder conflicts. The initiative will revitalize the affected communities through construction of residencies, roads, schools, and essential facilities, and reconnect the communities and address some of the issues that have been raised over decades and hundreds of years. So
I also thought we had different laws. We had some parts of the country operate the penal code, others operate the criminal code. Are they the same laws? Look, going back to
he's talking about the Constitution, that all the various states are aligned to the Constitution. He's just saying other states,
other countries, they have a different Constitution for each state.
Okay, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.